Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks, and I think when it comes to modern cartoons, I think it's safe to say that Disney Channel is on top of the game. With shows like Gravity Falls, Wander Over Yonder, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, the DuckTales reboot, Amphibia, and The Owl House, it's no wonder why this channel has become so successful over the 2010s decade, and it looks to continue to become even more successful with how popular shows like The Ghost and Molly McGee and Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur have become. However, there is one new modern cartoon that I feel like has been gotten overlooked and gone under the radar by a lot of people, and I don't understand why. And that show is Big City Greens. Now, I'm sure you're probably expecting me to say, man, this show didn't get the audience it deserved. It wasn't really on the air for that long, and I wish it had gotten all those things. But in actuality, the show is actually really successful right now. It's the #1 show on the network, as it's done huge ratings on the network and is very successful on Disney Plus. It has a pretty solid fan base online, and Disney has renewed the show for a 4th season, as well as greenlighting a feature film set to debut on Disney Channel and Disney Plus at some point. So with how big and popular this show seems to be, why isn't anyone really talking about it? Is it because the show is bad? Well, I mean, you saw the video title now, didn't you? Big City Greens is a show about who else? The Green family, as they move into the big city with their grandmother after living on the farm doesn't go too well for them, and they have to adjust to the new life and surroundings of the big city. As you can probably tell, this show doesn't have the biggest, grandest story arc and plot out there. It's very simple and to the point, and that's totally fine. In fact, this actually works very well for the show, as it takes full advantage of its simple plot and storylines for certain episodes. Every episode has a very simple basic plot, but the show's writing and the way it's executed all makes up more for it. There are even some episodes where there are multiple plot lines going on all at once, and they keep it under 11 minutes in such a tight and fast pace. It's really well done, and it manages to keep you entertained and invested over the time period. Another solid aspect about this show are the characters. They're all really likable, charming, and are even fleshed out in a degree that I wasn't expecting. Starting with the Green family, they're a typical dysfunctional family. You have Cricket, the troublemaking schemer, Tilly, the kind-hearted sister, Bill, the dad, who's trying to keep everything together, and Alice, to put it lightly, the overly enthusiastic grandmother. And sure, while they don't always see eye to eye, they bicker and sometimes are in way over their heads, you can tell that they genuinely care about and love each other. And when one of them faces a big problem, the family comes together to help out in any way they can. It's honestly really sweet and touching, and the show does a good job of fleshing out these characters to be more than just stereotypes or just one-dimensional country folk living in the big city. You get a lot of their goals and aspirations as the show goes on. Like with Gloria, who at the start of the show you think, okay, she's just going to be the Squidward of the show, someone who always gets in the way of the Greens' plans and always is the butt of the joke. But no, over time, thanks to Cricket having to work at the cafe due to him wrecking it a couple times, I guess the city doesn't have any child labor laws, he grows, as well as the family, to learn about her aspirations of wanting to sell artwork in Paris and her struggles of working in the big city. And again, not only do the family come to grow and learn about her and love her and respect her, she basically becomes an unofficial member of the Green family, to the point where she has to move in with them, and she starts running a cafe with their grandmother. And the supporting cast is also strong too. You have Remy and his family, the Remingtons, with their bodyguard Vasquez, their rival Chip Whistler, and a bunch of other side characters and friends they've made in the big city that are also likable, charming, and funny overall. This also helps the show in its emotional moments, as you definitely care about the characters, and when things go wrong, you want them to succeed at the end. Like when Cricket is sad about their dog Phoenix running away, or when Tilly feels that her Father's Day gifts aren't good enough for her dad. You definitely feel sorry for these characters, and the show does a good job making you feel for their dilemmas and wants them to succeed at the end. Another solid aspect about this show is the humor. There has never been an episode where I haven't laughed out loud and as consistently throughout the entire episode, pretty much. Pretty much every episode has a great jokes at least once in the episode that'll guarantee you to make you laugh a lot or even really hard. From how solid the writing is and how strong the delivery of the jokes are, these were all just really funny, whether it be the banter or how the characters play off of one another and react to certain situations, or even how absurd and even at times kind of dark these jokes can get. This show is just really, really funny. And something that's also really surprising about this show is that it's not afraid to shake things up throughout the story. Sure, it's still an episodic, slice-of-life, silly little cartoon, but over time, once a big change happens in the show, it stays that way. Like I said earlier, Gloria moves in with the Greens and runs a coffee shop with the grandmother, and that stays the same throughout the rest of the show. Their mom, Nancy, comes back, and she's just there for the rest of the show. Even in the third season, most recently, halfway through it, the Greens actually moved back to the country and hang out there for a little while. It's really refreshing to see an episodic show like this keep up with the continuity, and it allows for viewers to be interested to see where these characters go and what decisions will be made that enhance the show in the future, and how they resolve this conflict of moving to the country halfway through the third season. While I won't give away what happens to it, as the season 3 finale just recently aired, I will say it does have me invested and curious to see what will happen in the next season overall. And lastly, there is the animation. Again, very simple designs here to the point where none of the characters have noses, but I think given the tone and the type of show this is, I think it really works. They're all so simple and adorable looking with their big eyes and their big goofy smiles. I love how every person in this show is a different color. It's just really appealing to me. Speaking of the colors are very bright and appealing. The animation is smooth, vivid, and charming. Something interesting I learned is that this show is one of the few shows right now that's actually still traditionally hand-drawn, which is actually pretty cool. The backgrounds are all gorgeous. It's a very well animated show. So yeah, overall, Big City Greens is a pretty delightful show. It's definitely become one of my favorites on the network, and I look forward to watching it every time it's on the air. Now the question remains, if the show is this popular and this good, how come not a lot of people talk about it? Well, I do believe it is because it is a Disney Channel show. Now, I don't mean that because Disney Channel makes bad shows. I mean, far from it. I love all the shows I've mentioned in this video, but I do believe that when people think of a Disney Channel show, they're thinking of more serialized type of shows, something with deep stories, complex world building, and deep lore. So when they come to see Big City Greens and it's just a simple, silly cartoon, they get turned off by that. Which is, fine. You don't have to like every type of show out there. But I do feel like if you're just into Disney Channel for those serialized shows that you're not willing to give other shows a chance, then you're kind of missing out. So please, give Big City Greens a watch. It's delightful, funny, the characters are lovable, it's emotional at times, it's not afraid to shake up the status quo, and the animation is really solid. If you're interested, all the episodes are on Disney Plus as far as I know. If you don't have Disney Plus, they air it constantly on Disney Channel. I mean, as they should. It's their most popular show on right now. And give it a watch. I definitely recommend it. And those are my thoughts on Big City Greens. What are your thoughts on the show? If you've seen it, do you like it? Do you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.